Hey guys, Tim M. Sullivan here. This past weekend was the St. Louis Horror Film Festival Hysteria Fest, and Tanner and I had an opportunity to speak with actor and producer Adam Daniel Mezei about his film Play Along. Play Along went on to win 4 awards at the festival, with Adam Daniel Mezei winning Best Actor in a Feature Film, Erin Pitt winning Best Actress in a Feature Film, writer and director Jesse Pomeroy winning Best Screenplay, and the film winning the Audience Choice Award for Best Feature. Adam was very passionate about his film and was happy to talk with us about it. So, without further ado, here is our Q&A with Adam Daniel Mezei.
We are from Bomb Squad Productions. I'm Tim M. Sullivan.
Tanner Richard Kraft.
And we're going to introduce the actor slash producer, Adam Daniel Mezei. Come on up. All right, so we each have a couple questions for you. I'll start. So since this is like a sort of a bottle type film with limited space and just the 2 actors, what was it like working with that sort of more limited kind of space and just the one actor and yourself to act off of?
That room was really, really cold. So, not because it was in Canada. I mean, that also helps though. But that room was so this. I have a very good friend in Hamilton, Ontario, where we shot this film, and she got us this wonderful space that was the old Sunday school building that was adjacent to the church, and we shot the shit out of that room. And the thing is, they didn't have any running water. They didn't have any electricity. I had to bring an electrical guy in to come and reconfigure the entire electrical grid. And then, so one of the people had to run gallon jugs of water to the main sanctuary and bring them in. We didn't have a functioning toilet. So that room that we're doing most of the acting in is absolutely frigid most of the time. It's below zero most of the time. So that was a challenge. And being in there all the clothes that we were wearing and half naked sometimes. Acting with Erin, let me just tell a little story about that. So Jesse Pomeroy, who's the director and the writer and one of the producers of the movie, came to me and he said, I need a girl, she has to look like this and that and that. So I still go to acting classes, and so one of the big acting schools in Toronto in my city is called LB Acting Studio, and so I have a lot of friends in class, and I was just going through the names of the various people in class, and I was like, I think Erin Pitt would be great, and we had Erin read for Skylar Watkins, and Jesse, I think if memory serves, 30 seconds into the tape, he's like, yeah, it's good, I'm good. I'm like, you don't want to watch the tape? No, it's good. So. And I knew Erin for a couple of years prior because we're in class together. So I knew she had chops, and I knew she could handle the role, and I knew she could handle the rigors of the role. So you had the physical conditions, and we shot it in February in Toronto, which is extremely cold. And then and we had traffic because the church is right on kitty corner on the street. So it's there's traffic going. There's a hospital across the street. There's ambulances coming in and delivering people to emergency. There's creaks and things and noises. So our sound people were just incredible with how they were able to insulate that space. And the main room is it has a stage, and we just built this little enclosure with heavy sheeting that we bought at Home Depot, and we built the scaffolding, and we sort of tidied it up and put some bric-a-brac and stuff in there, and so that's kind of how that actually took place. I'm not sure that answers your question, though.
I mean, it answers sort of working conditions, I guess.
Yeah.
And then another question I had, just kind of your history and relationship with the director, Jesse Pomeroy. I had watched one of his previous films, Hell Mountain, which I know you worked on. Just kind of what you've worked on together and general relationship. Yeah.
So Jesse came to me in the summer of 2023, and I had known Jesse because I had reviewed one of his original films called World Full of Nothing in 2008, and he lives in LA and I live in Toronto, and the original title of this movie was called World Without End, and it was going to be part of a sort of a master series of films in the world, etc. He changed the names around. And always the first word of every film would be world. So over the years, I had been down in LA and San Diego, and I had friends in San Diego, and I'd fly down, we'd meet in Orange County, or we'd meet in LA, or he'd come down to San Diego, and then he'd come up to Toronto with his father. So Jesse approached me, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to do this movie because it's an enormously challenging role to like play 7 different guys, and then I'm also, no, not to toot my own horn, just to say that like the dual heavy lift of producing it, being the main producer on it, and making sure that I know my lines, and making sure that there's enough like hot vegan meals like on the table for lunch at 12 o'clock. Like, so I mean, I had a supervising producer, my friend Jade Urich, that came in. So Jesse offered me this role, and I thought it'd be great because he'd always wanted to shoot a film in Canada, and we had like a really good working relationship to that point, and he's an incredible whiz when it comes to cinema. He knows movies, he knows reference films. He's an incredibly prolific writer. He writes very quickly and well, which is like, that's not always the case with a lot of writers. He's super savvy. He's a very good director to work with because he lets you do what you want to do, and he lets you try things which some directors in the auteur space don't necessarily let you. And he really loves Canada. I mean, he really loves shooting in Canada. Like, and my crew's all Canadian, so everybody gelled and bonded really well together. Aaron just completely took to the role, and Jesse's direction, and everybody loved being there and taking Jesse's direction on set, and you see what we did in 12 days, in an hour and a half, nicely compacted together.
Yeah, absolutely. And then my last question I have before I turn it over to Tanner is, do you have which of the characters that you played would you say was your favorite to play?
Yeah, I liken myself to a bit of a character actor, so anytime I get a chance to play something that I have to change my look, or I have to change my hair color, or I have to change like my size or eye color, whatever it is. So I really loved playing what we call the Regency gent, which was outside in the courtyard. So the Edwardian, so that using that type of a British sort of tonality from the 18th century. That was. I really love playing the Regency gent. I also really like playing the club manager, which is the 5 for 2 at Eyes of Blue. I come in there, she's looking in front of the mirror, sort of powdering herself in the mirror, because I mean, who doesn't want to be in the scene with Aaron Pitt, like less than a foot from her face, like that's kind of, and that was just like so much fun to like have that. Aaron knows I'm kidding. But I really like playing those 2 guys. I mean, they're all challenging in their own special way. With respect to so I would say those 2, but Jesse really liked the Doctor because if you remember from the first Indiana Jones movie, who passed away, Ronald Lacey, who played Arnold Todt as the character, and he's like sniveling with the Nazi with the coat, right? Yeah. Fräulein, so I really pleased. So he was giving me those. He's like, I want you to watch a couple of these clips, and I want you to like kind of model yourself after him. So I was trying to go for something like that. And over the years, I spent a lot of time, like when I used to live in Europe for half a dozen years, so I spent a lot of time in Germany. So I was really like, for me, German was I was very not fluent, but I was very comfortable in speaking German. So he'd say, hey, come up, say this, and I started thinking to myself, okay, I'll say it like this, or if I didn't get the grammar right, I'd look on Google Translate it. So that's how we came up with that character. So those 3 guys basically are the fun guys to Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sort of piggybacking off his question a little bit with what your favorite characters play. I come from a bit of an acting background myself, so I'm just kind of curious as to what the process looks like for all these different characters, especially since 6 of the characters are technically main characters. Then playing a character, there's layers to it. It's kind of complicated. Like, what does it look like for each character? And I guess honestly, which character was maybe the most challenging to play?
Okay, so every day, like for all the filmmakers in here, every day you'll get a call sheet, and then but you also have a bit of an idea of what's called the day out of days, the DOD, the dude. So you know what you're shooting. Jesse's very meticulous. He's a very, very organized filmmaker. So like we had everything very properly apportioned. We knew what we were shooting on a given day. So like I knew going into it on which day, Tanner, like I knew what I was going to play on a given day. So the benefit was that the city of Hamilton is about 35 miles outside of Toronto. So like and I live in the city. So as part of like getting to set for my 7 o'clock call time, like I'm driving on the highway and I'm talking to myself in the car, and like I'm in the character from the moment that I wake up and brush my teeth. I'm talking to myself in picking up the phone and I'm speaking in the accent. If that's how I'm playing that guy in that day. So I had the benefit of that, and that's how I prepare for those characters. And some days were not that fluid or efficient because obviously I'm producing as well. So I mean, a simple pedestrian issue like we ran out of hazing fluid. Hey, I need 2 more jugs of hazer. I got to call Jade and say like in the middle, like speaking to him like the doctor, and like I need 2 more jugs of hazer. So stuff. I didn't have the full time to prepare, but most of the days I did. And challenging. I mean, I do accents pretty well, but I found the Regency Gent was most challenging because the language was so convoluted and the dialogue was so arcane that I had to repeat it to myself several times to be able to whip it off. And you have to, being an actor, you have to emote with your partner, and then you have to deliver the lines the way the director wants them to be said, and they need to be said in the proper accent. So there's like a triple play of hell that you have to like wrangle down on the set, and you have to do it within a certain shooting ratio so that I'm not like yanking it for like 5 takes and Jesse's pulling his hair out and freaking out and going like whoever, like the camera crew. So I would say the Regency Center was probably the most challenging of all of them. And also we shot that outside, even though it was during the day, but it's still colder than a witch's tit. So it's
great stuff. I noticed that I did some research on the director Jesse.
Yeah.
I noticed that what he seems most prominently do is a lot of dialogue editing for feature films. I was just curious, do you think you noticed anything about him as a director influenced by that kind of work, maybe the way he approaches things sonically even?
Right. So just FYI, Jesse is an Oscar-winning dialogue editor for Anora, by the way.
He worked on Anora.
He's the dialogue editor for Anora, so just FYI, that's an interesting piece of information. I think when it comes to sound, Jesse's a whiz. We had a chance to do a post-production session in Burbank, in California. I flew down to be in the studio with him, and just like, I wasn't playing with the knobs or whatever, but I was sitting in there and, is that good? Yeah, that's good. Play with that. Yeah, is that good? Sounds better? Okay. So like, he really knows sounds, and I think you can hear it. Like, I think the micro sounds, the minutia, he's so engrossed in it, and I think as a craftsman and as a maven, he's so into that, and I appreciate it because I'm sure you guys would concur. Like, you watch a film and the sound is shit, you just like, I can't watch this thing. It's beautiful, but I can't watch this thing because I can't hear what the fuck they're saying. So Jesse's really into refining and sifting and iterating and doing that, and it's just amazing to be in the booth with him. Or we had some ADR sections. I won't tell you where, but we had some ADR sections. So we're doing some of the ADR in his house, like in his old studio. And it's such a pleasure to be around somebody who really knows what they're doing, and because Jesse's worked on so many films as dialogue editor, also, I'm going to just do a little Hosanna now, he's also the Emmy-nominated dialogue editor for Cobra Kai, the entire, all the seasons. So yeah, he really gets his hands dirty in a good way.
Absolutely, and I guess just one final question for me, a bit of an open-ended question. Is there a particularly really fun story from set that you would maybe like to share? Maybe some kind of like crazy, indie filmmaking hustle type thing or something like that?
Well, let's see. Because the film was known as World Without End before we changed the title, for a lot of specific reasons, and it was mostly distributor driven. So I would go around and go, whoa, like that. And so there's a documentary like somewhere that we have, somewhere online, where I'm just like going up to everybody and going, and Erin's like cracking up in the background because she doesn't even know that I was doing that, She's like, so I was explaining to people, like the guy was interviewing me and he's like, what is this? So it's World Without End, otherwise known as, it did the thing, and then whoa, and Erin's like cracking up in the background. And she's like losing it or like rolling on the floor. So that was really funny. It's just a really nice, tight like family type atmosphere. It's my team. It's the Razzmatazz and Real. So like I work with these guys all the time, and like they're my guys and the keys. But we, as you know, like doing independent films, it's all fast family, and you're there for 12 days and you're in the trenches and you're making it happen. And we had like a beautiful wrap party, and like just most of the guys on that set were giants, like 6'5", Jesse 6'5", Jesse James Van Dillon, the electrician, he's like 6'7". So like Aaron's like 5'3", and so like during the wrap party, like Aaron's going up to him and like going back to back, and we're all drunk and whatever. Yeah, and he's like, see, I can take him, I wish we would have had that on camera because that was like so funny, to have that. But yeah, Aaron's a gas, and everybody got along so well together. And you guys can come to me after. There's so many little interesting stories, like with who and how and why they're on the set and how I know them and so forth. But yeah, I hope that's funny.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, and I guess we can open up to audience. Anybody have a question?
Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, so for the different characters, did Jesse come to you and say, here's this cast, I hope you can do all these accents, or was there collaboration between you both to figure out who was gonna do what?
He had a I was like 75% of the way there, he knows what he wants, and he says, I think it should be like this, and I think it should be like this. Just because he wants it to be a certain way doesn't necessarily mean I can do it the way he wants me to do it, but I think in most of the cases, we were pretty on point together. And then I just workshopped it, and then I'd send him an audio, and I'd go into it, and he's like, yeah, good, tweak that, change that, send it back to him, good, now we're kind of aligned. And I picked it up pretty fast because I watched a lot of Jesse's films, and I know what his creative sensibilities are, and we're kind of age contemporary, so we both know the same movies, and we watched the same movies during the 80s and so forth, so it was easy for me to pick up what he was laying down. I think the doctor we took us a little more time to refine that, because I had an idea what I wanted to sound like. He's like, no, it needs to sound more like Toad, from Indiana Jones. So we played with it back and forth. I watched this clip, okay, I watched it, did it, no, watch this one, second one. By the second one I had it. So it was maybe like 1 or 2 steps, and we picked it up pretty fast, because we were gelling very well in that film for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a power balance between you and Aaron Pitt's character where it shifts back and forth several times. What kind of stuff did you and Aaron Pitt go through in pre-production or during production, actor to actor, that kind of keep that chemistry between actor and character to character?
Right. So Aaron's a classmate, in my acting school. So we at that point we would have spent Thursdays together because that's our class day at night. And I think what I tried to do, Erin's total approach, she's been acting since she's like a little kid. So like her set familiarity is off the charts, and her ability to hit marks is uncanny, and her access to her emotions is remarkable. And it's just a pleasure to work with somebody like that, because she just, in simple language, she just doesn't fuck up, ever. But I tried to keep a little bit of a distance between she and I wanted not to have too much involvement with her, because I wanted to establish that hierarchy and not sort of animus or rank her. I just wanted to have a little bit of a distance, so that when we got onto set, it's like, you go over there, I go over there. Like I didn't eat lunch with everybody. Like everybody's like sort of hamming it up like over the craft table. I'm just like I'm fucking off out the door. Like I'm doing something else. I'm doing push-ups like in upstairs. That's what I was doing. I'm doing. I was like, it's like crazy Rocky shit. So whatever. And so that helped maintain the required distance that only enhanced what was part of Jesse's script. By definition, I came with a little bit extra, and obviously I'm twice her age, so it's like that also kind of helped because we're not like in the same we're not the same generation, so to speak. So that kind of it all worked out well. Like it not only did we perform it well, but it actually, like in reality, like me as Adam and she as Aaron, like we were able to make it work, right? Yeah.
All right, I think we have time for one more.
just a question of this costuming, specifically the police officer. Is the helmet used in general dress is the UK Bobby, I apologize, kind of 1930s, 1940s famous police officer outfit? Was that set intentionally as a like, so when he first shows up, everybody watching is going, oh, this is not a fever dream of hers, this is something he's doing specifically? Or was that like, we had this nearby?
Yeah, that's amazing, that question, actually. So my go-to costume designer, her name is Pamela Blackwood Marquez, who also was very instrumental in helping us secure the church location in Hamilton. So Pam's my go-to costumer for all of my movies, and she's got a menagerie of like in her attic of like 3 floors of crazy ass costumes and stuff. And like I'll just go there in the afternoon, she'll open up a bottle of wine, and like we're just like hamming it up for like next thing you know, like I got here at noon, it's like 6 o'clock. You want to stay for dinner? So because she's got all these the crazy costumes. So because Jesse was in LA and I was in Toronto, and we were trying to coordinate this because he wasn't there to approve costumes, so we'd FaceTime or we'd have some videos, or I'd make some videos and stuff. With respect to the police officer, so we tried a couple of variations. It wasn't that premeditated. I mean, I hate it's a wonderful question though, but it just looked better because we tried like the standard, New York cop flat, whatever they call that cap, whatever that name of that cap is. That didn't work, and we just thought it would be a little bit more idiosyncratic if we were to have that type of the bobby cap. And it was so wacko that like it come in with a crazy gruff, accent with the nightstick or with the flashlight there, and then just yeah. I mean, it was just wacko. There's another video of Aaron and I like in the green, like wearing that uniform and just like hamming it up in the thing. It just kind of looked funny because it's just it's something that you typically see all the time, right? Yeah, but definitely fever dream. Like that's definitely what's going on there. I'm glad you got that part. It's a ride.
Let's give another round of applause.
And that wraps up our Q&A. I'd like to thank Adam for speaking with us about his film, and I'd like to thank Paul Hibbard for putting the festival together and giving us the opportunity to do this Q&A and filming it for us. And I'd also like to thank you, the viewer/listener, for tuning in. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, please give us a review. We appreciate any feedback that we get. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below and let us know. Have you seen Play Along? What did you think of it? What did you think of Adam Daniel Mezei's performance? Comment below and let us know. And while you're down there, hit the like button if you like the video, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and hit the bell icon to get updates when we upload new videos. If you'd like to support our channel further, consider donating to our Patreon. The $5 tier gets you access to our commentary tracks, and the $10 tier gets you a shout out at the end of podcasts. So, many thanks to Tanya Craft. We appreciate your continued patronage of the channel. You can also check out our merch store at bombsquadproductions.shop, where we have shirts, hats, posters, and more. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Just slid my ticket across the table and I said, "Sorry guys, I gotta see about a girl."